has taken over. Let's go. It's Ferrall. Coast to coast. Steaks, chicks, stacks. You and I are going to make a lot of money. It's Ferrall, coast to coast.
Make sure you get the SportsGrid app on iOS and Android in the Play Store. It's free. You're going to love it. You can watch the network on there. You can listen to the network on there. It's got the TV side, the radio side. Follow your favorite hosts like Carver High. In-game odds, stories, highlights, videos, everything. It's the SportsGrid app. Get it today. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. Hey, did you know we're streaming on X? Just go to SportsGrid-Live and you can watch us streaming on X right now. You can get the Ferrall Coast to Coast and Ferrall on the Bench podcasts on Apple and iTunes. Go get them today, the full 3-hour show, plus the Ferrall on the Bench look at sports from the night before and lining you up for that night's games and all the odds and everything you need. Every day, those two podcasts are available Monday through Friday. Tonight on SportsGrid TV, can we look at it at 6 Eastern after this very show? You got Game Time Decision GTD with the Kevin Walsh from 6 to 8. 8 o'clock Eastern till 10. It's In-Game Live, the legendary show with opposite picks, Scotty Wetzel, my boy, and Mark Zinno. Hoorah, soldier, hoorah. And then at 10, it's Sports Rage with Gabe Morency and the Prime Minister, Cam Stewart, live in Toronto on a little Sports Rage late night action for you. And then on SportsGrid Radio at 8 to 10, it's Carver and Lisi, SportsGrid TV and SportsGrid Radio. We took over the world a long time ago, and it was easy doing it. Catch all the shows tonight on both. We recommend using a different earpiece for each network. The radio side, the TV side, you're good to go. As we go into the second hour here on a C2C Thursday, we're still talking NBA rack, and it looks like the Great Barrier Thief.
Yes, the Great Barrier Thief indeed. By the way, I just want to bring this. You saw Gracerman hit that ball on top of the stands over there, over on 17. Now, he's going to get a gift, I would bet you, because of where those stands are, and they're a man-made thing. They're going to put that ball in front of those stands, and he's going to get saved because he hit the top of the stands. He should be behind the stands and have to hit over the people. That's how it should be. But instead, he's going to get a gift, and he's going to get himself a nice opportunity to save.
That's
with
some
an awful
bullshit.
shot. It is, but I've seen them do this before. I've seen them do it before. We'll see if they do it again. Dyson Daniels, 8th youngest player to reach 300 career steals. We're hoping that he's on his way to the Defensive Player of the Year award.
Yes,
stealing
sir.
his way all the way to that.
Steal the award.
Yes. Now, we're going to get into this game. It'll be the last game we give the numbers for, but some notes from it. Cat is not on the injury report for the Knicks. He's going to be available, it says, against the Lakers tonight in Los Angeles. So I know there was some question about that yesterday. Doesn't look like it's a question anymore. And Cat's
Somebody
going to be
has
out
cancer. Must be the girlfriend or somebody in her family because he's playing.
Yeah.
And if it were him, he wouldn't be playing.
Yeah, he's out there tonight. Austin Reeves is probable to return for the Lakers tonight as well. He has missed, I believe, the last 2 games. Reeves has been out after getting hurt last Friday night against the Clippers. It looks like he's going to be back in there. Big stretch for the Lakers coming up here. Home for the Knicks tonight, and then how about this trip? At Boston, at Brooklyn, at Milwaukee, at Denver on the way home. Tough 4-game stretch. So the Lakers, who've been the best team over the last 20 games, they're going to get tested here with some pretty good opportunities the next 5 games.
I can't wait to see the Lakers take on the Celtics. I think they'll handle the Nets, and I think they're better than the Bucks. And I think Denver will give them problems in the Mile High City at Ball Arena. The Nuggets can play with anybody. Let's not forget they got a ring. So I know people are short-fused when it comes to remembering things, but they're still there. That core 4 is still there, and they're balling. They're playing, and they're playing well. So I think that's, the first game, the Boston game, and the last game are the 2 best games.
They are the two best games. And I'm guessing that Lakers-Celtic game is probably, Saturday night ABC game, I think. That's that primetime game that's going to be on ABC, so everybody will get to see that. All right, let's get to tonight. We have 6 games in the NBA. We'll start in Orlando, where the Bulls and the Magic will get together. Orlando minus 7.5, 218.5 the total. Yeah, this
is brutal because they both,
any part of this game.
I think they both have been. I'm starting to believe, fully that Orlando's been a disappointment. They got Banchero back, a month and a half ago, and they just don't matter. And then, to me, Chicago. They're 5 games worse than them, but right now Chicago's in that last spot. Right, the last play-in spot is the Bulls. I think they got the last spot. So
yes, they do.
I think this is a better game than 7.5. I think the Bulls cover.
I've got plenty of other games I can lose money on tonight. I don't need to be involved with the Bulls and the Magic down in Orlando. That's for sure. Pacers are in Atlanta against the Hawks. Pacers minus 3.5, 247.5. These Hawk games. Hawks and Grizzlies every night, man. These totals are in the upper 240s.
Yeah, when it is, then it's going over, and I like the Pacers to cover. I think the Pacers are better, and they're unstoppable.
76ers are in Boston against the Celtics. We talked to you about this already. 76ers bringing the skeleton crew tonight. The Celtics really are, too. No Brown, no Horford. Tatum will play tonight after not playing last night. Who cares? White and Pritchard will probably have, 15 threes combined again, like they did last night. 13.5 for the Celtics. 218.5 the total.
I know this is crazy, but I'll take Philly in the 13, and I'll take, Quentin Grimes will have 40-some points, and they'll be in the game because last night 2 guys had over 80 points, and they still only won by 10. They had 2 guys with over 80 points, and they won by 10. And, bottom line was they were laying 9. They covered. Now they're laying 13, and no one's playing. What do we do when no one's playing? We take the team with nobody on it, and they always cover. Give me Philly in the 13, and I can watch it implode on TNT.
They did make this Grayserman tee off again on 17. I'm surprised. Usually they give these guys a gift and put them over by where it was kind of lateral of it. They found that ball in someone's backyard after it hit off of the roof of that structure, and they made him hit it. So he had 3 off the tee.
The only way you should be able to drop right there in front of the green is if you land in someone's champagne or shrimp cocktail.
Yes, that should be you get points for that.
Should be the rule.
The Warriors, after a win at the Garden the other night, got to spend an off day in New York City, and now will cross the river to see the Nets at the Barclays. Minus 11.5 for the Warriors, 222.5 the total.
Another game where the Warriors will take the night off. And this is not the game they were worried about. It was the Knick game at the Garden where they wanted to win that game. This game tonight, they sleepwalk through, win, and don't cover the number. The Nets, with their defense and their scoring, will cover the 11 spot at no sleep till. Give me the 11, the uprights, the sticks, as you call them.
I've got 2 more for you. I'll give you those, including that Knick-Laker game late night. I'll give you those when we come back.
So my team didn't win this weekend, but I still did with this app that's taking over the game. Sports Millions Pick'em lets you make quick and easy predictions. Pick your favorite players, go higher or lower, and you can still win big even if your team loses. Plus, the multiplier is insane. With just a few picks, you can win big money. So get on it. They've got a welcome bonus to help you start off your winning streak.
anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this once? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
All right, those last two NBA games, I tried to get the app going on the TV to watch the Illinois State game, and I couldn't get it. I can get it on the phone in front of me. That's not going to go over well doing the show. I'm watching the game while I'm doing the show. It's just not feasible. Although I think I could chew gum while doing the show and get away with it. Maybe not.
Maybe, maybe not. We shall see. There are two more games. The Rockets are in New Orleans against the Pelicans. Rockets minus 4.5 on the road, 230.5 the total. Rockets have been struggling a little bit recently.
Is that right? Because I'm taking them tonight.
Well, they're coming off a couple losses. You know, they've lost how many now? 1, 2, 3. 3 in a row they've lost.
And then what? I don't trust that Pelicans team and that greasy city. I'm done with it. Like, give me the Rockets. I mean it.
And finally, game of the night. Second game of the TV doubleheader out at the Crypto in Los Angeles, as we will get the Knicks and the Lakers together this evening. Right now, Lakers minus 3.5, 231.5 the total.
Yeah, I like the Lakers tonight. They never disappoint. I mean, of late, they got the best record in the league over the last 2 months. And that was even before Luka got there. They were winning with Reeves and LeBron. They were winning before he got there. Now that he's there, they win every night. They moved into the 2. They literally killing everybody. I mean, the other night they had 136. The Knicks don't play no D. They're going to score tonight like nobody's business.
17-3 in their last 20, the Lakers, which, you said, dates back to before Luka. Remember, they lost to the Knicks the night of the Luka trade, right? That was the night where LeBron, after the game, was out eating in New York City when he got the call that AD was out and Luka was in. So looking to split the season series with the Knicks. There you go. I got the
game on. I refuse to buckle. I just put the game on. I got it right here. I got action 27-21. Illinois State's up. I got it all going.
And the Knicks, by the way, Sky, they're playing back-to-back. They're at the Intuit Dome tomorrow night against the Clippers. So both L.A. stops for them in 2 nights. Lakers tonight, Clippers tomorrow.
Lose both
for
of
the
them.
Knicks. They very well could. Sometimes that West Coast trip could be a little house of horrors for the Knicks whenever they go on it. All right, there's your NBA for this evening. How about college, Rack? You just said it. You're involved already with this Missouri Valley game that we have. Everyone loves the Valley. 29-21, Illinois State leads Missouri State. Second
And
game
I got
of
it
the day.
perfectly. I got it perfectly in a box on top of the rundown of the show.
Oh,
so as I'm doing the show, I'm missing nothing. Look at this action. I got the box. Look at it. I got it rolling under the rundown. Let's go.
Perfectly done by you, and that's just not good enough. Cantley's got to get that closer than that. I mean,
Well,
we're
I
trying
got
to
that
get
going
birdies
too in here. I got the golf going too.
We got to
in the
get
Bay Hill
birdies,
with the
man.
thick rough.
I mean, let's go here. All right, college, Rack. Let's do it. Ole Miss beat number 4 Tennessee 78-76 last night. Let me give you this, the final seconds. Now, I'm going to warn you, this is not the whole thing. This is Ole Miss taking the lead. Honestly, I thought the call sucked at the end when the guy missed the bunny, but this is Ole Miss getting it on ESPN.
Now Padula, now it's Brakefield, who's against Milicic. Shot clock at 5. Morrell, Padula for 3. It will not roll in. The tip goes up. Brakefield has it, and Ole Miss has the lead.
Brakefield had the game of the night for the Rebels, and then the kid had a chance to tie it at the buzzer, and he missed the bunny. It was, and he's probably still in his uniform. A day later, he's probably still sitting in his uniform in the back of the bus. Honestly, the kid needs a shrink. He missed a bunny.
It would not surprise me if he had it been. I know you would have made
that
it.
shot.
I think I might have made it as well if I had that shot down there underneath.
I would have made it.
Very possible. Tough scene for him. Number 5 Florida beat number 7 Alabama 99-94.
Yeah, I got to say
good
something
win for
here.
the
Time
Gators.
out. I
Yes,
mean, honestly.
of course. Sure.
I got 5 left. Are you not, I'm asking you, are you not about ready to jump ship on the Alabama Tide basketball team that loses every big game they play? I mean, they're at home in Tuscaloosa. They can't win. Auburn beats them. Florida beats them. And then everybody's got them as a top seed and that they're going to go to the Final Four and play in the national championship. It's not happening. In my view, it's not happening. They are beatable. And last night, I mean, the Gators beat them by 5 in Tuscaloosa by 5. My God, what's next? By 10? I mean, honestly, they're overrated. Like, everybody's got them as this team that can't be beat. They lose every game that matters. I mean, honestly, do they not?
They seem to lose every game that matters. For me with Alabama, it comes down to matchups for me. If they play a team that's not a great offensive team in the tournament, they can flood them. They can bully them and just overwhelm them with offense and go by them. I feel like these games, like this Florida game, and they've played a couple others where both teams are scoring 90-plus points. Like, I don't go well for them. I think that they're better off, when they're a bully team, kind of, and the matchups are going to be significant for Alabama when that bracket comes out a week from Sunday to see what their road is going to be to get themselves to the Final Four. Texas Tech beat Colorado by 16. Weren't they laying 17.5?
Yeah, they didn't cover.
They didn't cover. They didn't cover against them. BC lost at home to Clemson 78-69.
They covered.
They did. Wisconsin beat Minnesota 74-67. Win for them. Wisconsin's been playing well. Maryland beat Michigan in Ann Arbor 71-65. I liked Oklahoma yesterday, and they did get it done 96-84. They needed that win bad.
That was
I got to tell you, though, I know these bubble tea people all have them like first 4 out. They're like 5-12 in conference this year, Oklahoma. You go 5-12 in your conference. I don't care how good the conference is. You shouldn't be in the NCAA tournament.
I agree.
which is a great place to be. Are you in the locker room? Like, you giving like the Any Given Sunday Inches Al Pacino speech? Are we there yet?
Oh yeah, I think we've been there. We're gonna have a long talk with Rob today about the 99-199 issue from last week. Like, I just don't get how he is still employed. We gotta talk to ownership about that one.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
Possible that while every other state is trying to copy New York and get that 51% tax on sports betting, is it possible that New York will actually lower their taxes? That's surprising.
The question is, of course, what sports books could go there. I mean, we're already at 9 that are the biggest ones out there in the market. So, I mean, who are you really missing?
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Remember when everyone was upset about NIL? You know what NIL did? Make sure Cooper Flagg wasn't playing with the G League Ignite. That's good for us. That's good for college basketball. When the best players are actually playing college basketball.
You're going to get battle tested. And it doesn't matter, Kevin, if you're at home or on the road. If you don't come ready to play in the SEC, you're going home with an L.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this once? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Real quick, Carver High, I saw you laughing, so I want to know what that was funny about. And then I just want to say, before, because we blew by it, the Maryland win over Michigan at Chrysler. How many games Michigan going to lose where they just keep their rankings? Like, they're another team that's just overrated. Like, what is the deal? How many games do they have to lose before they get bounced? Like, I don't care about the top 25 anymore. I don't think they're going anywhere. I don't think they're as good as everybody thinks they are. I think Dusty May's done a great job with Michigan, and I think they're not where people think they are, that they're some Elite Eight, Final Four team. It's not happening. I mean, they're losing games at home left and right.
Yeah, it's not happening at all for them. Look, they haven't played well down the stretch. You know, sometimes, I was thinking this yesterday, sometimes these teams that they really can't move from where they are, right? Like, they kind of know with a week left that no matter what they do, maybe they're not playing any big teams. Like, they're going to be between a 6 and a 10 seed. Like, they're in that area, and I don't think that they have the gas or they care enough. You know, like Oklahoma cared a lot. It meant a lot to them last night. Texas the other night, it meant so much to them. They need wins. I don't feel like Michigan and a couple of these other teams have that bite right now because they kind of know they're going to be there. And whether you're between 6 and 10, it is what it is when you get into the NCAA tournament. But you want to be playing well. You don't want to lose every single game going into the tournament. That don't help you out either.
Or even into the Big Ten tournament.
Even into the Big Ten tournament. I was laughing at they were doing that Joe LaCava interview on the Walk and Talk there at 13 because LaCava is Cantlay's caddy and his son caddies for JoJo Highsmith, who won the COG last week, and they're playing together. So father and son caddy duo at the Arnold Palmer here the first 2 days. They were showing some clips. I guess that was of the first time LaCava was on the bag.
First time he
won. And I looked at it quick and I missed it. Who was the old guy he was on with the green glove that won that?
I don't know who he was talking about. That's what screwed me up. I didn't catch it. I didn't remember who that was. And he told the story of that he won that week and then he won the next week too.
it's someone who was real good back then, and it just, the face, once I get the name, I'm going to go, oh, of course that's that guy. But I need to go during the next break and look that up. Who Lukava was on the bag for the first time he won, because he's definitely a guy who was very known in the 80s, 90s, etc. Back at that time. All right, few other things from last night in college rack. UConn, good win for them at home at Storrs. They beat Marquette 72-66.
They don't lose in that building.
They do not lose there. We've played a lot of Dan Hurley clips this year. They're usually somewhat fun, or him giving the media the business, one thing or the other. This was at the end of the press conference last night. And sometimes, Scotty, it's very simple. Either kids are playing well or kids are not. And they're either going to play or they're not based off of that.
The easiest job I got is just who should play. I mean, if a guy's playing like shit, you just want him off the court. And the guy that's playing well, you just leave him on the court.
That's it. That's it. See you later. Yeah, he's right. I mean, sometimes it's that simple. Sometimes it all comes down to that. And we always
honestly, that is so true. I have never seen anything like it. I watch these terrible, just absolutely atrocious high school coaches. And then you got players that score 15, 20 points a game, average, leading scorer. And they got her on the bench for long stretches. And I'm like, I never take off a scorer off of the floor when I have a basketball team playing someone. The best players play, and the best scorers play. And the worst players sit. It's that simple. There's no being nice. I've never seen anything like watching this coach sit my daughter, who is the leading scorer for 3 years, and she's sitting on the bench. She doesn't like her. Well, I don't like that you're fat and ugly. So why don't we get down to that? We can talk about that a little bit instead of sitting the player, the only person that can score. There's only one kid on the team that can score. It's her. And she's sitting on the bench. You stupid ass. How I sit there. They have to hold me back and put duct tape on my mouth so I don't scream it across the floor at this chick. I hate her dead. Dead. I don't care. I said one day, I hope she gets hit by a semi-truck. And I meant it. You think I'm kidding? Carver High knows I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding at all.
I know you're not kidding.
I can't stand this chick.
Which is a great place to be. Are you in the locker room? You giving the Any Given Sunday inches Al Pacino speech? Are we there yet?
Oh yeah, I think we've been there. We're gonna have a long talk with Rob today about the 99-199 issue from last week. I just don't get how he is still employed. We gotta talk to ownership about that one.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
Possible that while every other state is trying to copy New York and get that 51% tax on sports betting, is it possible that New York will actually lower their taxes? That's surprising.
The question is, of course, what sports books could go there. I mean, we're already at 9 that are the biggest ones out there in the market. So, I mean, who are you really missing?
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Remember when everyone was upset about NIL? You know what NIL did? Make sure Cooper Flag wasn't playing with the G League Ignite. That's good for us. That's good for college basketball. When the best players are actually playing college basketball.
You're going to get battle tested. And it doesn't matter, Kevin, if you're at home or on the road. If you don't come ready to play in the SEC, you're going home with an L.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this once? Oh, Donnie, you've got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
All right, we keep talking about college rack, and I'm watching that game, by the way. Illinois State, I think they're up like 15 at the half. I mean, they're just cruising in that. Yeah, they're killing them.
Smash City for them. We actually have a four-way tie at the top now. Patrick Cantlay, Wyndham Clark, Christian Bezuidenhout, the Bezuiden adventure involved here.
Jesus.
And Keegan Bradley's already in the clubhouse at 3 under. Someone's probably going to finish better than that. And hopefully it's Patrick Cantlay, who we do have for a first-round leader. We'd like to see him get home. All right, we love coaches who, let's just say, having a bad day. We play them from time to time here on Coast to Coast. Last night it was the turn for Cincinnati head coach Wes Miller. Let's just say that his Bearcats didn't give the full effort in an ugly 54-49 loss at home to Kansas State. Here is Coach Miller afterwards.
It's an unacceptable performance. The effort's unacceptable. The fight's unacceptable. It's on the head coach. I'm the leader of the operation. I got to do a better damn job, and it's on my butt. So it's on my ass. That's the truth of it. But that's unacceptable. I'd boo our butts too. I'd boo myself too. Damn. That's unacceptable. Unacceptable. The fight and the efforts. I don't care about missed shots and layups and free. That doesn't matter. The effort is unacceptable. And I haven't seen that team. I don't know who that team is. I don't know who that basketball team is. I hadn't seen that in a long damn time. This has been a tough fighting group for 3 to 4 weeks. 4 weeks. And I thought we played as hard as you can play against Houston. It didn't go our way. Some tough call. Like, I don't know what the heck that was today. And I apologize to anybody that bought a damn ticket that had to watch that. I apologize. And you damn right you should be on my butt. I deserve it. That is unacceptable.
Nice job by Wes there. Wes Miller of the Cincinnati Bearcats.
Dropping bombs.
Outside the bubble there for them. Also last night, those NEC games, all chalk. Although the only one that didn't cover was St. Francis, PA, right? They only won by 3 against Wagner.
They were laying 2.5.
Oh, were they? Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
the other ones were some big numbers, right? Central Connecticut, FDU, and Long Island, all with easy wins in those NEC quarters. All right. Dallas Mavericks assistant Alex Jensen will be the new head coach at Utah for the Utes. Who played at Utah. Yes, who? Alex Jensen apparently was a big player at Utah. He will now go back and be the head coach of the Utes, and he's leaving now because college is different now. You can't wait till the season's over. They open the portal like tomorrow. So
great
you got to be there.
time to get out of Dallas.
That's very true too. If there was ever a time like, you guys have fun, I'm out of here. I'm off to the mountains. I'll see you later.
Good luck with this mess.
Alex Jensen will do that.
Nice knowing you, Nico.
Dylan Harper and Ace Bailey. They are the first Big Ten freshman duo to score 500-plus points since Chris Webber and Jalen Rose. Here's the difference. Chris Webber and Jalen Rose went to the Final Four. Ace Bailey and Dylan Harper, they're not going to be even in the tournament.
Won't even go to the Big Ten tournament.
That's just, how sick is that?
Did you know that they're not letting every team in that tournament?
I know that they have changed the way because they have so many teams.
Mike, those are the two highest scoring freshmen ever, and they never won. Like, who cares how many points they scored? They never won. They were terrible. I think that is so amazing to me. Like, I got to be honest now. I don't know Peichel, but if I'm running that school and I'm the athletic director and I had those two superstars playing on my team and we never won games, Peichel's gone. What? It's never going to get better than what he just had on his floor this year. They had the two greatest recruits in the school's history, and they never won a game. I would have already fired Peichel a month ago, honestly.
The bottom 3 teams, like you said, do not go to Indianapolis for the Big Ten tournament. Right now, that would be Iowa, Penn State, and Washington. Those are the 3 teams that are right now not going.
So Rutgers gets to go, but they're not doing anything.
Well, you got to remember, though, there's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 5 teams that are 7-12 in the conference, and Iowa is 6-12. So Iowa plays tonight against Michigan State, right? So they're probably going to be 6-13. So going into the last game, there's some tiebreaker things that could happen. Rutgers would be the 11th seed right now and play Nebraska in the first day next week. So Rutgers is in right now.
They're perfect for one another. They both stink.
Right. Rutgers, Nebraska. Indiana, by the way, would play Oregon on the second day right now of the Big Ten tournament.
That'll be a great game. Maybe this time the one team won't go to the line 21 times to Indiana 7. Maybe this time they'll have a 11 to 10 in terms of free throws, or 12 to 10, or 9 each instead of 21-7 for that fixed game in Eugene that they handed to the Ducks that Indiana was winning. But the refs stole it from them and handed it to Dana Altman. And anyone who watched the game saw it happen with their own eyes. That game was taken from them by the refs. Those refs were hairdryer city. They were awful. What they need to do is keep those 3 refs out of Indianapolis at the Big Ten tournament. Keep them the F out of there, because those 3 hacks, they should be doing high school games or middle school games.
Well, for Indiana, I'm just going to give you the scenario here. What this last game against Ohio State is also going to determine is if they win that game, they won't play on Wednesday, and they would play their first game Thursday. If they lose that game, they're then going to fall back and have to play on Wednesday in that opening day against one of the bottom feeders of the Big Ten to try to get to Thursday. So that's also on the.
I don't even care about all of that. They're not winning the Big Ten tournament. What I'm worried about is if they lose to Ohio State, they're going to be first 4 out of the NCAA tournament. You lose to Oregon and then go home and lose to Ohio State, you're not getting in the NCAAs again. That game in Bloomington at Assembly Hall is their biggest game of the year. They have to win that game. I don't care if it's by 1 or 10. They got to win the game. And I got to tell you, mark my words, they're going to be in trouble in that game. Every time they play that goddamn Ohio State team in Bloomington, they have problems. Since I was in my mother's womb.
They do have problems with them all.
And the same thing in football. Sure. They can't beat Ohio State in anything. Swimming, tennis, golf, nothing. Pinochle,
AP
dice,
AP top 10 teams undefeated in the last 3 weeks. There's only 3 of them: Michigan State, Houston, and Duke. They are the only ones undefeated in the top 10 the past couple of weeks.
I think all 3 of them can go to the Final Four.
I think all 3 of them could too. Tom Izzo ties Bobby Knight and Ward Lambert 11 Big Ten regular season championships, tied for the most now. Congrats, I guess, to Tom Izzo.
Well, what happens is, let's just get down to business here. What happens is coaches die, and they either retire or die, and then legendary coaches that have been around forever, like Izzo, catch up to him. And then he's going to stop coaching, and then someone will pass him. So I think Tom Izzo has been a great coach, a great champion. He's won a ring, and he's won 11 Big Ten titles. And I also don't think he's a better coach than Bob Knight. Not even close. Bob Knight won 3 national championships. He had a team that went undefeated, the only team to ever go undefeated. And he also won the Olympic and Pan Am gold. And he stuffed a cop in a garbage can when he won the gold medal in Puerto Rico. When he was done, he just picked up a cop, 6'6", 300 pounds, and stuffed his ass in a garbage can, got on the plane and flew out and never got arrested. Now that's when you know you're a badass, when you can stuff a cop in a garbage can and get away with it. That is awesome. Woo! All night long. Like 4 horsemen. Woo!
Which is a great place to be. Are you in the locker room? Like, you giving like the Any Given Sunday inches Al Pacino speech? Are we there yet?
Oh yeah, I think we've been there. We're gonna have a long talk with Rob today about the 99-199 issue from last week. Like I just don't get how he is still employed. We got to talk to ownership about that one.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
Possible that while every other state is trying to copy New York and get that 51% tax on sports betting, is it possible that New York will actually lower their taxes? That's surprising.
The question is, of course, well, what sports books could go there? I mean, we're already at 9 that are the biggest ones out there in the market. So, I mean, who are you really missing?
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Remember when everyone was upset about NIL? You know what NIL did? Make sure Cooper Flag wasn't playing with the G League Ignite. That's good for us. That's good for college basketball. When the best players are actually playing college basketball.
You're going to get battle tested. And it doesn't matter, Kevin, if you're at home or on the road. If you don't come ready to play in the SEC, you're going home with an L.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this once? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
All right, let's look at the racks of ribs we got going on tonight. I mean, we have just been absolutely cleaning up for people, Carver High, with college basketball winners, Christ, NBA, NHL. What don't we hit, honestly?
Let me give you first non-conference tournament games. So these are just some singular games in some of these conferences that are still finishing out their regular seasons. FAU is at UAB tonight. In the American, good one in Conference USA, Liberty and Middle Tennessee. Middle Tennessee short favorite at home. Michigan State, we mentioned, laying it on the road at Carver Hawkeye against Iowa. How about the Anteaters tonight? Laying 7.5 at UC Davis. Long Beach State travels to UC San Diego. 22.5. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I actually think they'll impale them. I do. They're at home. They win that game by 30 or more. And I like Irvine on the road, too. And I love Michigan State on the road. I don't care where that game is, at Carver Hawkeye or otherwise. Michigan State's too much for Iowa. They got nothing but problems right now. Their coach, good old Fran, he might be getting whacked in Iowa City. Middle Tennessee and Liberty. I mean, that's a hell of a game. Middle Tennessee at home is the play, right? They're at home. They're only laying 1. And that 23-win Liberty team, that's going to be a hell of a game. I still like UAB, even though that number is 5.5. I think, FAU's decent in Boca. But going into Birmingham, I think UAB gets it done at home and covers.
Next up, Horizon quarterfinals tonight. So, of course, we had the first round the other night.
These games are at the team's home. They're at the team's home. The higher-seeded team is at home. All those teams, Youngstown, Milwaukee, Bobby Moe, and Cleveland State are all at home.
All at home. Purdue at Youngstown. Youngstown short favorite here, -1.5. Also, Oakland and Milwaukee. Milwaukee at home, 8.5 for them. Wright State visiting Bobby Moe. Bobby Moe minus the 6.5, and Cleveland State -3.5 against the Norse, Northern Kentucky.
Look, I love Youngstown. I'm a Penguin guy. I've always done shows there. Great fans, great people. And I'll take Purdue-Fort Wayne in that game at Youngstown. I like Milwaukee at home. I like Bobby Moe at home. Chalk. And then I like Cleveland State and Northern Kentucky. That's the thing about that game. Cleveland State and Northern Kentucky, I still think Cleveland State covers that number. It went from 4.5 to 3.5. People are jumping on them. I still like Cleveland State at home. I really do. The only one I'm taking a shot with on the road is Purdue. Purdue-Fort Wayne.
Patriot League quarters tonight. Same deal. These games are on the floor of the higher seed. Loyola is at Bucknell tonight. You have Lafayette at American. Navy visiting Boston U. And Army and Colgate tonight in the Patriot.
Okay. Let's get down to business here. Bucknell is they're going to cover that number and settle down and handle Loyola, Maryland. The Lafayette and I got to find this game. The Lafayette and American game. I don't understand why they don't just put them all together. Lafayette and American. I can't believe I got to go searching for this stuff. Lafayette and American. It's 4. You got to be kidding me, Carver High. Because I have this down here. I got to get this right. It's important that we get this right. Lafayette and American. There it is. I like American there at home, and I got them at -4 this morning. BU. I like BU at home. This is I saw it. I got it this morning. I like it even better now. It was 2.5. Now it's 1.5. I like it at home, and I like toothpaste at home too over Army. All of those teams at home are chalk to me.
Next, why don't we go to the Missouri Valley? We've talked about their afternoon games. They have 2 night games in St. Louis as well. Evansville and Murray State. That's a 7 o'clock East tip. And then after that, Valpo against Illinois Chicago, who's laying 3.5 against Valpo. Then I've got the Sun Belt for you in Pensacola, where this evening you will have Georgia Southern and Georgia State. Southern -2.5. And then Old Dominion catching 6.5 against Texas State.
All right, first of all, I think Murray State wins that game, but I bet they don't cover. I think that number's too much. I think that's a really good 7-10 game. Evansville covers. I like Illinois Chicago over Valpo. And that Georgia, and that you told me those games are on the road in Pensacola. Is that what you said?
Those are all in Pensacola. Those are neutral site. Pensacola for the Sun Belt.
Yeah, that Georgia Southern game. I just got to get this right. Georgia Southern. Hold on. Bear with me. I got to find it. It's important that I get this right. It just drives me nuts. Georgia Southern. There it is. Yeah, I like Georgia Southern to win that game against Georgia State, and I got it at 2, laying 2 this morning. And then the Texas State game, God almighty, it's just painful looking for them. I mean, it is. You would think they'd just keep them together, for Christ's sakes. Texas State. I like Texas State in that game, but I don't like them to cover that number. I like Old Dominion in the points, 6.5.
And finally, semifinals in the A-Sun tonight. Jacksonville and North Alabama at North Alabama, and Queens are at Lipscomb, 9.5 there. Also, Summit tournament tonight. Kansas City, after the win last night, plays Omaha, Denver, St. Thomas in the other game.
All right, so I think the Northern Alabama, that's going to be a great game. Jacksonville covers the 6.5. North Alabama wins the game. I think Gabe's right. Queens will cover to 9.5. Lipscomb will win the game, but won't cover to Wood. I like Kansas City with 3.5 against Omaha, and I like St. Thomas of Minnesota to handle Denver and spank that ass.
There you go. If you have any stragglers, and I don't know if there are any, but if you do, we can get it. Well, there's still out late night games. I'm sure you got some late night stragglers too.
Which is a great place to be. Are you in the locker room? Like, you giving like the Any Given Sunday inches Al Pacino speech? Are we there yet?
Oh yeah, I think we've been there. we're going to have a long talk with Rob today about the 99-199 issue from last week. Like, I just don't get how he is still employed. We got to talk to ownership about that one.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
Possible that while every other state is trying to copy New York and get that 51% tax on sports betting, is it possible that New York will actually lower their taxes? That's surprising.
Question is, of course, what sports books could go there. I mean, we're already at 9 that are the biggest ones out there in the market. So, I mean, who are you really missing?
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Remember when everyone was upset about NIL? You know what NIL did? Make sure Cooper Flag wasn't playing with the G League Ignite. That's good for us. That's good for college basketball. When the best players are actually playing college basketball.
You're going to get battle tested. And it doesn't matter, Kevin, if you're at home or on the road. If you don't come ready to play in the SEC, you're going home with an L.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this once? Oh, Donnie, you've got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Everybody loves stragglers, Carver High. I'm going to go Marist, getting one at home from Merrimack. I play with a dude, 2 of them that played at Merrimack. I play with all the time. I'm going to still bet against them. I like Ryder over Canisius, lay it. I like Fairfield in the 7.5 at Siena. I like Mount St. Mary's getting 9.5 at Quinnipiac. I really do. And then it goes on from there. I'll take Tulane in the 5 at East Carolina. And then I'll take the 5 with New Mexico State at Louisiana Tech. I don't buy them either. I like UTEP getting 2 at Sam Houston. I like Delaware State over Eastern Shore. I like South Carolina State over North Carolina Central. I like Western Kentucky over FIU laying the number. I like Wichita laying 1 at Rice. It goes on from there. I like Alcorn at Mississippi Valley. They're awful. I like Southern laying 5.5 at home against Alcorn State. Or I think it's Alabama State. Southern over Alabama State laying the 5. I did lay that 5. It's 5 and a hook now. I like Grand Canyon laying 16 and a hook against Utah Tech. I like North Texas, the green, whacking Charlotte tonight. I like Bakersfield over Hawaii. And then a couple more. I like Poly over Fullerton. And I like Northridge laying the 1 at Riverside. Boom. Stragglers.
Lots of stragglers indeed for us there. Nice job. College rack. For tonight. And next week's going to be great. Afternoon games next week, which I'm looking forward to.
It's the greatest thing ever.
Why don't we start the hockey, and then
Everybody loves hockey.
I do the live stuff with Brady, we'll get through tonight's games. Caps did beat the Rangers 3-2 at the Garden last night in overtime. Now, normally I would play you the overtime winner in a game like this. But that's not what we're going to do today, because when a guy is 9 away from tying and 10 away from breaking a NHL record, and he's now scored 885 goals. You give him the juice. Ovi on TNT last.
To the front for Mangiapane, and he scores! Alexander Ovechkin! 9 away from 99! 10 from the all-time record! 31st goal here at Madison Square Garden for the grade 8.
31 at the Garden.
I mean, honestly, this guy, and you know what's great about him is he gets excited as any goal. Like every goal, he gets so excited when he scores. He loves scoring, and he doesn't like a lot of guys. Like McDavid scores, you'd barely know he scores. He's so bored with it. I'm so great. And then, Lemieux used to do that too. Like he'd score and he'd be like, he wouldn't even flinch. Guys that score a lot, it's no big deal. Not with Ovechkin. He celebrates every goal he has. And I like that about him.
Yeah, he certainly does. And he's now getting a little bit closer as the week, about 20 games to go. So he's got to basically do one every 2 games. And he's going to be able to get there. Sens beat Chicago 4-3 in overtime. Vegas beat Toronto last night. Canucks beat the Ducks. And the Blues beat the Kings in a shootout 3-2, a rare loss at home for the LA Kings. NHL trade deadline tomorrow. There's a lot going on. There's still some names people think might be moved. Now, you remember the Mikko Rantanen deal from Colorado to Carolina about a month ago. Well, they have tried to sign Rantanen into a long-term deal. Thought, show him around for a month. Hopefully he likes it. He stays. He is not going to commit to that. There ain't much to see in Raleigh. He is not going to commit to that before tomorrow afternoon. So allegedly, Carolina, they've got a decision to make. Do they want to flip him and get something back, or do they want to go for the run? Now, when you're a team that's been one of these favorites to win every year for the last 3 years, might as well put the hammer down. They did it with Gensel last year, and they lost him for nothing. So maybe they don't want to taste that in their dinner again. But
that's exactly
they got
what's going to happen. That's exactly what's going to happen. So they're going to trade him.
I would think that that's very possible at this point. Anaheim trades Brian Dumoulin to the Devils for a second-round pick. The Penguins traded Desharnais to San Jose for a 5th. They traded Bunting
I didn't
to
even
Nashville
know he was on
for
the team.
Luke Shen and Tommy Novak as well. So we'll have a lot of trades hopefully tomorrow on C2C as with the deadline happens. Tommy Novak.
Who is that?
The Eagles got it done. If you back them, you're celebrating. Football season may be over, but the action never stops.
Are you ready for some baseball?
At SportsGrid, we're always in the game. We bring you 24/7 betting insights, expert picks, and real-time analysis. Next big play is already in motion. Are you ready? It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this once? Oh, Donnie, you've got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.